Thank you, Chairperson. Mr. McBride,
Sir.
indulge me for a minute. As a black boy in general, and the Bushman African in particular, from Eldos, that has been classified by the apartheid regime as a colored, I want to say thank you on behalf of every colored child in this country who has been told coloreds has not contributed to the struggle against apartheid. Thank you. Thank you for being the physical proof that that's a lie. Like Anton Franch, like Ashley Krill, like Stanley Lowland, and your comrade in arms, Mr. Gordon Webster, and Mr. Beck Ngubani, who was shot 5 times in the back by coward apartheid police. Mr. Webster survived. He was hospitalized under heavy apartheid police guard. Yet you, showing great bravery, you did what we young boys in Eldos only saw on TV. You rescued Mr. Webster out of Edendale Hospital. You are a living hero. I can sit in Parliament today because of your sacrifice. Mr. McBride, salute and thank you. You see, many of us also considers General Mkhwanazi as a hero for going public to expose the rotten SAPS. See, the thing about heroes is that even heroes has holes. Even Jesus was a hero with holes. But what makes Jesus a true hero is that when Thomas doubted him, he was prepared to make doubting Thomas touch his holes. Heroes should not be untouchable. And that is what this committee process is for. I'm a doubting Thomas. I don't trust anyone. And through my questioning, I want to touch the holes in your hand. Now we have no sides. My colleagues has already asked questions that points to some of your holes and you responded to it. I'm now going to focus more on the other side so that there's balance. Yes, I don't trust anyone, but I'm hopeful about your testimony. I'll tell you why. Because one thing I know about liberation fighters is 2 things. You were not trained by apartheid police. And it's hard for you to sell out and betray the country you gave your life for. Mr. McBride, my first question to you. General Khumalo testified that General Sibiya is linked to a serial hijacker known as Stuart Shanick, who because of this relationship with the general, his criminal records was erased from the SAPS system. Do you know whether this is true or not?
Firstly, Honorable Sauls, I know Stuart Shanick. In investigating the underworld with the construction mafia in KZN, the malfeasance at the port at Richards Bay, and who the main players are. Stuart Shanick gave me a good overview, and that overview assists in understanding the size and the nature of the monster of construction mafia. So he played an invaluable role. I know he's not an angel. I know he has a past. My My understanding of him is that he's changed and he wishes to work for justice and law and order. And I might be wrong, but I know him and he gave me something which I didn't know about how rotten the various apples are. And I'm still referring to his briefing that I got. So, yeah, that's what Stuart told me. At some stage, I had asked him about his background in detail because he had volunteered that he was not an angel and that he had previous problems with the law in his past. And I basically questioned him very hard what it was. And so Shanick explained to me the issues involving cars and all of that, and that he had been to prison and so on. So most people in my township have been to prison. It's a nature of a socioeconomically depressed society. So I advised him at that stage, if you want to pull yourself straight, you got to get expungement on your records so that you become a valuable member of society and you can contribute. South Africa is a place of second chances. So this is your second chance. I will never give you another chance. In fact, on Shanick, I introduced him to General Sibiya because I was not getting the support I needed to do the necessary work I needed at that time in the dangerous area I was working in. The area that's involved in people assassinating competitors for tenders, business people, anyone who stands in the way. And I believe in the who of crime. There are no aliens that kill people. And on a lighter note, either legal or illegal, I would draw that statement, immigrants. But it's not aliens, it's human beings that do it. Human beings do crime. Someone we know, a mother, father, sister, cousin. So you need to locate who that person is, and the information is all there. The information is in the community, and you have to work in the community. That is my approach. So I've given you a quick synopsis about Stuart Shanick. I don't know if that's sufficient, sir.
Except for whether you know anything about whether there is truth in the statement that his criminal record was erased, irregularly so.
No, my understanding is no. I think you got a lawyer or somebody to write to the necessary place, which everybody does for expungement. When there's a matter and if he's no longer under custodial sentence. I don't know exactly the law, but that's what was done. What I do know, though, is that when he appeared here behind Sibiya, the whole of the police service in KZN was activated to find something on him. That's a fact. And my view is that if he's still involved in wrong things, it's your own business. That's the issue. But there was a scramble to get information to discredit him, and by association, Sibiya also. Now, that guy came and support Sibiya with security in addition to the lawyers, because it's time for for people getting killed now. In Nhlanhla, someone testified and got murdered. For me, I've been on death row for a long time, so I'm still on death row. So any time is tea time. I don't mind. This might be my last appearance before Parliament, but it's because I live for something that's important for me, which is anti-corruption. I don't know how much time you got, Honorable Member. I can expound on that and the link between apartheid and corruption.
Yeah, I don't have much time, Mr. McBride, but I definitely would want to hear more on that. In paragraph 23 of your affidavit, you mention a complaint by former Newcastle Mayor, Dr.
Mhlaba.
Mahlaba. Mahlaba, yes, in paragraph 23. What do you want us to know about that briefly?
Oh, is 18.3, sir?
No, in your affidavit, paragraph 23.
23, 1 second, sir. Oh, the only issue there, sir, is that I don't know General Khumalo. I don't know how good he is. Some of what you mentioned there made sense on the times I heard him. But there was this complaint against him. I don't know the outcome. My understanding is that at some stage, SAPS settled with Mhlaba when he took them to court. And I don't know the exact extent. Subsequent to this event, I met Mhlaba in KZN and I asked him about this, and he didn't deny anything that I put here.
But is your testimony, by mentioning that in your affidavit, that the PKTT, specifically involving General Khumalo, was involved in a formal complaint of assault?
Yes.
You mention in your affidavit, paragraph 27, that the other time that you heard about General Mkhwanazi was when IPID was investigating what you call the I-View 3 allegation.
Yeah.
Tell us more about that.
Well, the I-View 3 allegation is about the elevated costs per unit of bulletproof vests. And that apparently 1,000 were purchased, but even Nathan Kistia, that name again, was involved in the procurement of the excessively expensive bulletproof vests. And initially 1,000 were bought, but because of the inquiry had started, no other purchases were made. And that involved a Paris trip and bags, but the bag is the least of the gratification. Gratification usually takes place when you have excessive cost per unit on any item, whatever it is.
How is that linked to General Mkhwanazi?
Oh, well, even Nathan Kistia, General Mkhwanazi, went to Sandra Tema's house, but also General Mkhwanazi was the go-between between the service and Kistia. And that is why they all were up in Paris again, together with General Masemola. I just think, to explain further, I think the other day I heard on TV, I saw a clip where you explained, without being obsequious to you, you explained quite tightly how the musical chairs operated at the senior levels, where you explained this one was provincial commissioner and this one was acting national, and then moving around. Well, that sounds to me like people moving in position with a long-term plan to take over, at least from my perspective.
Now, Mr. McBride, I know because of your history, you speak in code, one has to figure out when you speak of a bag here and a parastrip here and how that's linked to bulletproof. I want us to be very direct and try and simplify it for us, what it is that you are saying. Are you saying that General Mkhwanazi was involved in a trip to Paris together with General Musambula? And where does a bag fit in? And how is that linked, very briefly?
So the bags are a small symptom of the bigger gratification, which, as far as I'm aware, at that time, presentation was done to Parliament, but I was not aware of the extent of it. All I knew is that the bags, which were priced at Louis Vuitton, I don't know what the prices are. Everyone got a bag, about 7 people, and we've got some testimony about that. And there was aspects of the procurement which was irregular, like the Dallas, like...
So General Mkhwanazi got a Louis Vuitton bag?
Yes.
From who?
My understanding is a person related to the service provider, the person providing the... I can't remember the name offhand. But there's a statement by a Colonel Russ who returned one of the bags, and the bag is in the evidence lock at IDEC.
All right.
So it's not without foundation. Someone who was there made testimony that so and so and so and so got bags. I also got a bag, but yeah, it is. And they didn't declare it in the gift or benefit register. So alarm bell.
In paragraph 21 of your affidavit, you call the July 6 media conference by General Mkhwanazi, I quote, open quote, military-style media conference, close quote. What do you mean by this, and why is it important?
Well, police members serve the public, and police members, for accountability purposes, and I can expand on that, why there is greater scrutiny of police than anybody else in society. They must wear their names here so you can identify who is engaging with you. They didn't have names on them, the guy standing behind him. They were all masked up, looking ready for war. The language was, if it's not done in courts, it's going to be done on the streets. We are ready. And General Mkhwanazi explained in Matlanga Commission that, well, it was a show of force. So the timing of it was, okay, president's out of the country. He's gone. You don't do shows of force against a sitting president and the constitutional order. For what purpose? I mean, that is like really crazy. So the optics of the matter was intended to intimidate the rest of society because he didn't get his way on what? On closing down of one, someone got arrested and some unit got closed down and blah, 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 blah. They closed down National Special Investigating Team at IPID while I had left IPID. I didn't go and do a media conference with a big gun and all of that and dress up, like I'm a military man. I know I demobilized in 1996. So I know I demobilized. I'm not part of military. So I don't wear that. So for me, it's like, this is the guy at the top of his career. Now, maybe you could have got away with all the other stuff. Maybe, I don't know. But the optics of what he did and the message he's sending, and the message which he mentioned in Madlanga, show of force. So when you don't have your way in a constitutional democracy, you do a show of force against that constitutional democracy, that constitutional order. Is that the message that's coming through? Unless there's a different explanation for it, yeah. That's what it looks like to me.
Now, from a state security lens, you say the timing of it when the president is out of the country. From a state security lens, break that down for us in a simple way. Why is that such a red flag? The president is out of the country and this is the timing of it. What does that mean? Why did you feel the need to say that?
Because that's what happens. And that, with all those little aspects put together, is very dangerous. Very dangerous. Now, contrast that to when there were riots, insurrection, described as insurrection in KZN. I was suspended 7 days before they took off, for no reason. Up to today, no one can tell me why. Okay, I was in the foreign side, but I got suspended. So I was out of the way. And then the riots start, and then it's crazy, all over, up and down, and 250 people die. And the provincial commissioner's on leave, he's not around. And it goes on for 12 days, I think, 8 days or 12 days. We don't see no show of force against the unconstitutional behavior. Nothing. Nothing, nothing. In fact, police stood down and allowed people to do whatever they want to. Lives were lost, 50 billion burnt up or destroyed. When we needed show of force, it was conspicuously absent. So that's a point I'm making, is our message is very strong. And when the general appeared before Human Rights Commission, and he was asked about the 350 people who were killed, 350 Black lives, he said they should have stayed at home. So that is like very cold and indifferent, but is consistent with all the uninvestigated shootings in KZN.
Mr. McBride, is the slush fund being abused by crime intelligence?
Sir, by all accounts, it has never been not abused. It has never been not abused. That's what the scramble is for. Control of that, you control people, you control other policemen, you control generals, you control politicians with that. Because politicians, we know now from evidence that sometimes they will use the money for their own ends. The Crime Intelligence Fund, if, for example, someone important in society has a child or a partner who's involved in an indiscretion, get your crime intelligence body to buy the problem off. That's what's happening.
Is that what General Khumalo is doing with the slush fund?
Oh, I don't know exactly what he's doing the slush fund at the moment. I know there's a matter of buildings that were purchased, or I think someone said hotels, but I have not been involved in that investigation. I think that might be the reason, or it's one of the reasons why there was a rumor they might get arrested. But you don't use the Secret Service fund for buying buildings. You don't do it. You use it to protect sources or to set up run companies. That's what you use it for. And you go through a proper process so you can set it up. You also don't buy buildings, because what if your agents get blown? What, you want to sell the whole building? If your agents get blown and you're there, you just up and go and your operation can run again. If you've bought the building, you're still, man, you're not mobile. You're a target. So if you're a tenant in a place under a false name, you're right. If it gets blown, your operation, or some co-tenant spots you and realizes who you are, or some cleaner goes into your room and finds a badge or something, operation's blown. So now you must sell the whole building first. Everyone knows where you are. Whereas in the game, once you spend all the time putting a cover building up or a front company, you should be able to get out and move quickly and have some distance before, because the criminals you're spying on, they will realize who you are and they come and whack you. Yeah, that's the name of the game.
Mr. McBride, it is a historic fact that the Khoi and the San is the first defenders of this country. And as a descendant, I want to ask you to continue with that legacy of defending our country that flows in your blood. Thank you, Chairperson.
How much time have you got, sir?